You're listening to Wiretap with Jonathan Goldstein. Today, tell it like it is.
Call this number today. The skills to do better in school and confidence to do better in...
What's that noise in the background?
Oh, and I got the TV on. Hang on a second, I'll lower it. It's incredible, actually. I'm completely mesmerized. For the past, half hour, I've been watching these old, I think they're reruns of infomercials.
Reruns of infomercials?
Have you ever heard of this thing called verbal judo?
No.
It teaches people how to use the principles of martial arts, of judo, but to use these principles verbally in a nonviolent manner. Like you apply the concepts to your arguments, to your conversations with people. I gotta say that it's very appealing to me because it doesn't actually involve physical confrontation. Yelling back and forth, I'm fine with that.
Yeah, you can hold your own.
Yeah, as long as, on the telephone or from a radio studio, I'm a champ.
Speaking of which, how's your radio show?
It's I think not bad, but I'm just worried that maybe it could be better.
Yeah. Well, maybe if you spent less time watching infomercials and more time, actually working on your radio show, maybe then your show would be better.
You see, that's help for you to tell me that. That's helpful.
Yeah.
In a way, because it's so difficult to get straight talk these days. To get people to just tell you like it is. You know what I mean?
Yeah, totally. Well, I'm glad to help. I'll always do my part. You know that. Why don't you call your friend Josh though? He'd give you straight talk.
Call up Josh?
Yeah, he's honest. Didn't you always tell me? Isn't your friend Josh the guy who always tells you how much he hates your radio voice and how much he hates the name of your radio show? So why don't you call him and talk to him? You
think he can help?
Of course.
I mean, he's only honest with me insofar as that his honesty is really hurtful and insulting.
That doesn't mean it's not good advice.
I suppose he always tells me that I sound really depressed and buttoned down on the radio.
See, there you go. There's some of that refreshing honesty of his.
I know, but it's all.
You do sound very depressed and buttoned down on the radio.
Really?
Yeah, I think this is just what your show needs.
Okay, I'll give it a try. I'll call him up.
John, tell me about your show.
The show is me telling stories.
Like what?
I'll be telling certain stories that revolve around that particular week's theme.
Let me guess. Mm-hmm. Every week it's going to be the same theme. John Goldstein. What I think, why I'm important, what I did, what I'm going to do, what I like, how I smell.
That's really unkind.
Well, I guess my first suggestion would be speak like you do under normal circumstances. Speak like a normal human being, not public radio guy. That is your worst sin.
This is how I talk.
This is not how you talk.
This is how I talk.
Yes, this is how you talk now. I agree. But that's not how you show up on the radio. You speak very deliberately. Very staid, very middle of the road. Unlike me, you're not swearing. You're not...
I don't swear as much as you do.
Well, it's true that I curse like a sailor, but you curse kind of like a sailor's assistant,
You think that the show should have more swearing?
Oh, absolutely. Hey, there's an ant on my wall. My apartment is overrun with black ants. In fact, I have to go up on the wall to get this. Oh, you! No. God. Hey, I swear to God, as soon as I said you, he started running in the other direction. All right, I killed this bad boy. Taking care of business every day.
Can we talk about my radio show?
I guess.
So I should swear more.
Yeah. I just think that you... another one.
And don't spare my feelings, either.
I'm already sparing your feelings. Here's the thing. Mm-hmm. You're very wry on the air now.
And that makes you upset?
Well, essentially what you've done is you've eliminated RYE and substituted WRY. And that's not a healthy substitution.
So you think that there should be more booze involved?
More borscht belts, more booze, more swearing, more strippers,
It's not the Howard Stern show.
I'm not asking you to have women on and compare their cup sizes. I'm just saying that you've lost a little bit of zest, a little zing, a little jam.
So what you're saying is that it's like I've sold out.
I wouldn't say that you've sold out. I would say that you've probably, sold something out.
Well, there might be something to that, but there's a way to tell someone this. You know what I mean? In a way that I think is, I think it could be a little bit more loving. Loving? Yeah. Loving. And I feel there's ways to say things. You take someone aside and you tell them you don't. You've chosen this as your forum. I didn't choose it. I would call you out right in front of my apartment if you were around here, but you're not. You're in your fancy studio. Another ant. Unbelievable. Hold on, I gotta go run and get it. I know you think that it's crazy that I'm interrupting this recording session to kill these ants, but I've maintained a zero tolerance policy towards them, and I'm not about to stop now.
Hello, this is Lee.
Lee Felstad of the Verbal Judo Institute.
Hi, Jonathan. Are you familiar with the code of Bushido?
I am not.
Ancient samurai used to work in a feudal system. They were overlords and protected villages. Literally, samurai means to serve or to protect. These ancient samurai trained literally to fight wars and kill people in battle. They oftentimes, after the wars are over, even fought each other. An ancient samurai in the 16th century named Bukidin had 30 successful sword challenges where he killed his opponents in battle. Before he died, he left a statement that said he believed the ultimate martial art would be the one that does not cause harm to the other person. In a world that has so much violence, maybe there's a way to circumvent part of it at the source.
This is exactly what I'm looking for.
Sure. Let me give you what's called a deflector.
Okay.
They're ways of bypassing an initial criticism or comment or a verbally abusive remark in order to get back on focus, land on solid ground. When he says, let me make sure I understand your point here, your theme is going to be to talk about Jonathan every week and what you're going through, and a positive answer would have been, hey, I hear what you're saying, and maybe I do talk about myself quite a bit, and what you're suggesting then is that would be an incorrect theme for my program. And now he has to go back and justify or rectify his statement. Look at the fact that almost all verbal confrontation is a challenge. Someone says something, thereby challenging you to say something back. And politeness isn't necessarily going to get you a resolution. I mean, he talked about you perhaps being arrogant or egotistical, and what you said was, hey, that's an insensitive comment, meaning you've hurt my feelings.
But I mean, it wasn't too, namby-pamby of me?
Yes.
I asked you about the infomercials before, and it's something that you guys don't do any longer. But I remember, and maybe this was the founder that was he the man who was actually?
Yes.
And I remember there was a particular thing that he was doing. I think he was counseling some parents on dealing with their children. And I remember, and boy, I could totally have this wrong, but there was sort of like a sound that he made, which was sort of a sound that you would associate with martial arts.
Oh, that Whoosha sound? In the martial arts, there's something called a ki, and it's pronounced differently based upon who's saying it, but it's an expellation of air. When you exercise a technique in the martial art, if you are hit or struck, you want to expel all the air from your system, so if you hit the ground or are hit or connected with, it doesn't knock any air out of you, incapacitating you. While you're expelling that air, you're also adding force into your own technique, strength and power, which is why weightlifters shout or scream or whatever when they lift heavy weights. That shout off-balances your opponent, and that was its purpose.
So, like, if Josh were sort of to strike me down, as it were, by calling me, a self-absorbed narcissist, then I could strike back sort of with the Whoosha sound, maybe.
Well, you could, but he wouldn't have any context for understanding what it is, and he'd assume you have some kind of insanity issue.
But if I were to use it sort of in its capacity to throw my opponent in this situation, Josh, off base, I would say it's sort of like Whoosha, like that.
Depends on who's saying it. It's just Whoosha. How about have a little fun with it? If you're adamant in using it, let me give you an application.
Okay.
If you're using a deflector, you bring somebody around or use a 5-step process that we teach for generating compliance, and he looks at you and acknowledges the fact that you're right.
Okay.
The minute he says, hey, you're right, then your response is, Whoosha. What's that mean? To us, it's a little victory thing. It means we've successfully solved a problem without a threat or an act of violence.
Hello?
Hey, Josh?
Yeah. So what's up?
Well, I just wanted to see that you were...
All right. What do you want?
I was concerned about that ant problem that you're having. I know that, that could be a frustrating situation to find yourself in.
To tell you the truth, I'm not quite sure what galaxy you're living in. Clearly your concern is fraudulent.
Well, I'm hearing your doubt, okay?
Hearing my doubt?
I'm hearing your doubt.
Uh-huh.
But also, I want to reassure you, though, that I actually do care, and perhaps maybe together we could figure out a solution to this ant problem.
What are you, my lover? Look, the point is I have ants in my apartment.
Okay, I'm feeling a lot of rudeness, but I think rudeness is sometimes a natural reaction to frustration, and maybe you're feeling a lot of frustration right now that maybe we could talk through.
I am feeling a lot of frustration, and quite frankly, contempt. Can we talk through my contempt for you?
Okay, I'm going to bypass that verbally abusive remark to get us back on solid ground.
Well, what do you... you know what? Have you joined a cult since the last time we've spoken? I'm not giving you any money.
It's not...
I'm not giving you any money, and I don't want any flowers.
It's not a cult. I was upset by...
You know when you're about to say something and you preface it with, it's not a cult? 99.9% it is a cult.
No, it's not a cult. It has more to do with self-defense.
Self-defense?
Yeah, it's not a cult. I spoke to this guy. His name is Lee Felstead, and he runs this thing called the Verbal Judo Institute.
Verbal Judo. What the is that?
It's
What the beep is that? What the beep is beep that? Beep. All right. What
can I explain? Can I explain to you what it is? There was a feudal lord, a samurai.
Money.
He was a very successful ancient samurai, right?
Which means what? He cut people's heads off? What does it mean to be successful?
Okay.
You don't even know anything about samurai. You don't know anything about Japan. In fact, I had to explain to you that Japan was a different country just last week.
I'm trying to explain to you if you'll let me talk.
Yeah.
Okay? But I'm hearing your frustration.
Yeah.
Okay, there was a samurai, and his name was Bukadin, and he had 30 successful sword challenges before he died.
He killed a lot of guys.
He killed a lot of people who challenged him.
Yeah, big deal.
He took them out. But he said that the ultimate martial art would be the one that does not cause harm to the other person.
Oh, please.
And that's verbal judo.
Oh, please.
Why are you so skeptical? I mean, I'm hearing your skepticism.
This guy cut 30 guys' heads off, and now he's saying that that's not successful. He should have argued with them.
Well, he had no choice. We have a choice.
He had no choice?
Yeah,
Why? Because he had a code to live by? I also have a code to live by. It's called...
Whoosha.
What?
Whoosha.
Is there a dog in the studio? What is going on? What's Whoosha?
That's my victory sound.
Oh, my God. Your victory sound?
I feel you striking me. Okay?
I would like to strike you.
I feel you strike...
I would like to physically strike you.
No, you hit me off my balance, and that's how I regain my balance. Do you feel affected by it at all? Maybe I'm not doing it right. You feel a little bit knocked off your balance?
No,
off your high perch?
I'm pretty solid here.
Whoosha. Wait, okay, listen.
Wow.
Put your ear put your ear to the phone, okay? Now squeeze it tightly to the phone.
Mm-hmm.
All right, you ready? Whoosha.
Yeah.
Did that do anything?
Yes, it makes me very sad for you and your family. I don't know. I almost feel empty of rage at you because what you're saying is ludicrous. You're telling me that you're so desperate and befuddled that you've gone running to some guru.
I thought it could be helpful. I thought we could get past all of this,
John,
the
we
berating.
can get past all this if you would just I don't know, I guess just shut up and then just be normal, I don't know. Just stop looking for a key to everything. Stop looking for some grand design, grand plan. Just talk like a normal person. Don't talk like a public radio guy. Don't talk like a weird cult guy, because that's odd. Just talk like a normal person. Are you incapable? Have you strayed so far that you can't just have a normal conversation with someone without playing music under it, without interviewing them? Just chatting about the day.
I am chatting with you.
You are not chatting. I am chatting. Whoosha.
Whoosha is mine. All right?
You know what?
You don't get to use a Whoosha.
You can have Whoosha. I'll give you that one for free, okay?
No, it's not for you to give. That's mine.
Josh, it is not for you to give. It is for me to take. It is for me to be. Living like the tree, grasping branches at sky. Twilight, 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 twilight.
Hello?
Jonathan?
Hey, Starlee.
How'd your conversation with Josh go?
It went, it went like I thought it would go. Yeah.
Yeah. But listen, I'm actually calling because I need to ask you a favor.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's not a big favor. Let me explain a little, okay?
Okay.
I just moved to New York from Chicago.
Mm-hmm.
When I was in Chicago, I was going to see a therapist, and he was really great. And the thing is, I was always I had a hard time. I was very skeptical about going to therapy for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like it's really important that you go to the right one.
Mm-hmm.
Because before I was seeing him, the great one, I went to this other therapist first, you know. The first time I went, I was like really depressed, and I was in Chicago, and I hated it, and I was just miserable. And I went to her office, and I mean, she was nice, and she was maybe a fine therapist, but the whole time I was there, I couldn't stop staring at her foot because she was wearing these lacy ankle socks. Everything was kind of normal, professional, but all of a sudden she had, at the bottom of the, like completing the outfit, were these lacy doily socks, if you will. The socks had ruined it. And I said, I'm never coming back, and I left.
Wait, so you dumped this therapist because of her socks?
Of course.
You just felt because of her socks that you couldn't respect any advice that she might give you?
I felt like we had nothing in common, and I wouldn't be able to relate to her in any way. And that just like any advice she gave me, I wasn't going to be able to take seriously. So then I got this new therapist who I really liked, this guy, okay?
Mm-hmm.
And I really liked him a lot. He didn't have like the lacy socks, and it was all, he just like said all the right things, and he didn't try to like analyze my dreams or use any stupid psychobabble terms. Like he was just really funny and interesting. We got along really well. But then the more and more that I went and liked it, the more worried I became that he was going to say something that he would blow it somehow, you know, or I'd find out something horrible about him, like that he like rollerbladed. Or let's say when he was watching American Idol, he was rooting for that weird little freak Clay Aiken over Ruben Stoddard, you know? Like, I don't think I'd be able to take that kind of letdown. So I decided, him and I kind of talked about this, and I told him my fears, and then I decided that we needed to have some ground rules, some guidelines for therapy from that point on, okay?
Mm-hmm.
And you want to hear what they were?
Sure, yes.
Because you have to kind of pay attention, because this is, remember I asked you for that favor, right?
Mm-hmm.
So this is actually, I'm getting to it. I haven't forgotten. You know how I like to like kind of pry into people's business a lot? Like I wouldn't say pry, but I like to know a lot of information.
I would say pry.
Well, and I like to look people up. Like as soon as I meet them, I kind of come home and I look up their name on Google, you know. And if I stay in their house, I look through other things and I read all their letters.
Sure.
And if they lend me their computers, I read all their emails. Yeah, I like to know things about people.
Yes.
Okay. But with him, what happened was that I was so worried about finding out something bad about him.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That he would have something that I wouldn't like. Anything. It could be like the smallest thing, and I just knew I wouldn't be able to get past it. You know what I mean? Like it wouldn't be like the doily. It wouldn't be exactly the doily sock, but it'd be like the metaphorical doily sock. So that was our first rule. Don't tell me anything. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
And that worked out pretty well. But then, like, one time I came to the session and I had just seen a movie I liked, and I asked him if he'd seen it, and he said, I can't tell you. You know what I mean? Like, you don't want to know anything about myself, and I'd have to tell you how I spent my weekend, and you'd get creeped out. And that kind of made me mad and upset because I was like,
but he was just. But I mean, he was just abiding by the rules that you had laid down.
Well, yes, you're right. Now you're totally right, and this is where it gets kind of confusing. Okay, and this is also where, by the way, you come in to play. All right?
I do.
Yes. So then we decided we established a new ground rule. I had to reserve the right to know if I asked. You know what I mean?
Okay, so if you, so it's sort of like saying time out. Like if you wanted to know, despite the fact that you had told him that you don't want to know, if you specifically do tell him that you want to know, then he is obliged to tell you.
Exactly. But the thing is, I was never going to ask. Like, I made it very clear. Like, I'll never ask. I don't want to know. I absolutely do not want to know anything about you.
But you like to know that you have the power
yes.
to ask should you choose to, but you do not choose to.
Exactly.
Uh-huh.
Does that make sense?
Yes and no, yeah. I understand, yes.
Okay. So then we were going well. He wasn't telling me anything. I wasn't asking. I didn't know anything about him. But then, because I knew nothing about him, because he was just totally a blank slate, my mind began to create an identity for him. I didn't even mean to. I just started to imagine all these things that his life was like and that he was like. Okay, and the thing is, in my mind, he was larger than life. You know what I mean? I had to keep him really, really big so that he couldn't do anything wrong to mess up our relationship. You know what I mean? It was sort of like he was not even human. You know what I mean? And so I started to I took it really far. I didn't even mean to, but I actually created an entire new identity for him.
So what are some of the things that you think?
I think he enjoys the finer things in life. I imagine his closet is full with linen suits, lots of linen suits and all in a row. And there's art on all the walls, and there's the key to the city above his roll-top desk in his study, And I imagine he has student tickets to the opera and to the ballet. But what his favorite thing to do is, I think, is to throw these fancy dinner parties for all of his therapist friends. And I just see rows and rows of plum sauce in his pantry and his whole wine cellar. And he has cannoli shipped in from Italy for special occasions. And he's got this butler, who's British and really funny and dry and clever and insightful. And sometimes he talks to the butler about his problems. Can you picture that?
I think so. Yeah, I'm thinking a sort of I'm thinking of Batman.
Yeah, it's just kind of a funny way of looking at it, but I guess so. This is where you come in.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Well, I just left Chicago. I'm not living in Chicago anymore, so I can't see my therapist anymore. I really miss him actually, which might sound kind of weird, but I do. And so, what I was thinking was, now that I'm not going to see him anymore, I'd kind of like to know a little bit about him, to see if this persona that I imagine him to be is right in any way.
Right. So you're thinking of calling him up on the phone to find out?
It's close. It's close. Actually, I was thinking of having you call him up on the phone, but I don't want you to. I don't want to know what he says.
You want me to call your therapist?
Yeah.
That's nuts.
Nah.
How can I? You can't call up somebody else's therapist.
Sure you can. He already knows you're calling.
What do you mean he knows I'm calling?
I left a message for him. I told him you'd be calling him. I told you you'd be calling him in 15 minutes. So this is what I want you to do. I want you to call him. I want you to record it, and then I want you to take that recording and lock it away somewhere. Literally, I want you to lock it away, in a box or in a drawer. I do not want you to play it for me. I do not want to hear it until you feel that I am ready to hear it.
When I feel, you're going to entrust me with knowing when you're ready.
That's right.
And until then, no matter what, I am not to tell you.
No matter what. No matter how many times I ask you. I might beg, I might plead, I might try to trick you, I might try to say I am ready, to convince you of how mature I am.
Well, that could get pretty ugly.
I guess so. I don't really think so. I think it'll be fine. I don't think it's going to be that ugly.
Oh, this is...
Hi, Dr.
Yes.
Hi, this is Jonathan Goldstein.
Hi, Jonathan. Yeah,
hi.
I was expecting your call. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Okay.
So Starlee explained to you the questions that I'll be asking?
She actually didn't get into detail about those. She said that they would be, pretty straightforward.
Okay. Okay, so you ready?
Sure.
Okay. First question.
Okay.
Beatles or the Rolling Stones?
Beatles.
Okay. Simpsons or Friends?
Simpsons.
Okay. Clay Aiken or Ruben Stoddard?
Clay Aiken.
Which would you rather have, the power of flight or the power of invisibility?
Oh, what an excellent question. Starlee could be a therapist. I would say invisibility.
Okay. Do you own a yacht?
No.
How many elaborate dinner parties would you say you throw a week? 5 or more than 5?
5.
Okay. Don't you agree that it would be cool if you could get milk delivered to your house in old-fashioned milk bottles?
Yes, I do.
Those books on your office shelf, you haven't really read them all, right?
Right.
Okay. Who orders the magazines in your office? It isn't you, right?
Well, the precise answer to that question is that my office mate and I both bring them from home, and so there's a mix of our personal magazines.
So the ones that maybe she doesn't like
are the ones that are my office mates, yeah, clearly. Yeah.
Okay, and finally, she says you're her favorite psychiatrist. Is she your favorite patient?
Well, I'm a psychologist, not a psychiatrist. That is such a complicated question to answer. I will say that and I've said this to Starlee, I was never bored with Starlee.
I think that does it.
Okay.
That's our whole list of questions.
That was easy.
By the way, does my name ever come up?
Did she tell you to ask that, Jonathan, or are you asking?
No, that was sort of, yeah.
Yes, your name has come up.
Okay. I guess I'll leave it at that.
You can follow up with her on that.
Yeah.
Hello?
Yeah.
Did you talk to him?
Yes.
Well, what were the answers he told you?
Well, he gave me the answers to the questions. He gave me the answers to the questions that you don't want to know the answers to. That he answered them.
Oh, Jonathan, come on! I was just saying that. What did he say?
I feel like you're testing me right now.
No, you're paranoid. You're so paranoid. And now you're not going to tell me the answer that my own therapist told you?
Yeah, because you told me not to tell you, so I'm going to honor that.
I know, but I don't know what I'm saying. You know how I am. I live on the spur of the moment.
I do know how you are. And that's why I didn't want to get involved with this.
Come on, tell me what he said.
I swore to you an oath that I would not tell you, and I'm not going to tell you.
But he's my therapist.
I know. That's why I found the fact that I was calling him up in the first place very awkward. You put me in a very uncomfortable position.
Just tell me, Jonathan.
I can't tell you.
Just tell me.
I'm not going to tell you.
What did you say when you asked him about Clay or Rubin?
I can't tell you that. I'm sorry.
How about when you asked him about if he had a yacht? He has a yacht, doesn't he? He said yes to that, right?
I can't tell you.
Well, okay. How about Jonathan? Remember how I told you that you could tell me when I was ready?
Yes.
I'm ready.
You're not ready.
I am. I feel so ready. I've never felt more ready in my life.
No, you're not ready.
I am.
No, you told me you would be ready when there would be like a mature glint in your eyes, and there is no mature glint in your eyes.
No,
you sound no. There's a
can't see.
no. I could hear the desperation. I could hear the. I could. Yes.
No, it's not desperation. It's maturity. You're hearing. You're hearing maturity. Isn't that maturity sound?
Why did you involve me in this?
What are you talking about? I'm asking you in a very calm, mature manner, and I just want to know what.
The voices you heard on Wiretap today were Starlee Kine, Lee Felstead from the Verbal Judo Institute, Josh Karpati, and Dr. X. Wiretap is written and performed by Jonathan Goldstein and produced by Jonathan Goldstein with Carolyn Warren. Sarah Gilbert is the associate producer. Next week on Wiretap, Obsessions.